What's up everybody, my name is Killswitch, and welcome to my channel and this video. Normally I'd welcome y'all to a game, but clearly I'm not playing one right now. Today I wanted to talk about something a little more serious, and that is something that a lot of people have been dealing with in copious amounts. Anxiety. Some people have anxiety disorders, like social anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder, PTSD, OCD, different things like that. Some people just feel it on a time-by-time basis, like if they're looking for a job and can't find one, or a test is coming up in school. Either way, anxiety is not something that's fun to feel, but there are ways you can deal with it. There are ways you can cope that makes it easier to get through. I want to preface this video by saying I am not a medical professional in any sense of the word. I am not a psychologist, I don't have a degree in psychology. I'm just someone who has been through a lot, and I deal with anxiety myself on a regular basis. I'd like to share some of the ways that I've learned and developed for myself to handle my anxiety, to make it so it doesn't become as detrimental to my everyday life. But first off, what is anxiety itself? How do we know when we're feeling it?
I have listed on screen several of the most common symptoms of anxiety, which includes emotional symptoms such as excessive worrying or feeling tense or nervous, to physical symptoms such as hyperventilating, sweating, or having a rapid heart rate. You don't need to have all of these at once in order to be experiencing anxiety. Usually 2 or 3 symptoms will do. And it's important to keep in mind that just because you are not diagnosed with an anxiety disorder does not mean you cannot experience anxiety. It happens a lot during stressful times for many people. However, if you do experience these on a regular basis, please go talk to a doctor. In some cases, one may experience an intense and alarming rush of anxiety that is much different from just a regular bout. This is known as an anxiety attack, and there are often symptoms such as difficulty breathing, chills or hot flashes, irregular heartbeat, or a numbness or tingling known as paresthesia. On the other hand, one may experience another upsetting sensation known as a panic attack, which is generally more intense than an anxiety attack. They often share the same symptoms as well, with the exception that a panic attack generally has one feeling as though they may die, or having a sense of depersonalization or derealization. In either case, neither are fun to experience, and oftentimes it is best to have a way to cope on hand to bring you back into reality. And again, keep in mind that if you experience either of these at a frequent rate, please speak with a medical professional.
So, what can we do about it? Something that I like to do, and I'll do it frequently, is change up my appearance just a little bit, usually with clothes, color. Temporary color in my hair is something that I'd use a lot. A little bit of purple, red, blue, whatever I have on hand. This is some of the stuff that I use on a regular basis. I don't know. It doesn't look like it's going to focus real well. Oh, there we go. Some of this, oh, backwards. You can find it at Walmart, Macy's, what have you. It's around. And it's nice because it washes out. Like, you know, have it in for a day, hop in the shower, it's gone. So I can change it up as often as I'd like. Some people do like to actually dye their hair and keep it one color for a longer period of time. That works, whatever works for you. Some people use makeup. Some people get tattoos. Some people get a haircut. Some people cosplay. We'll dress up, look like someone else for a little bit. That's perfectly fine. Whatever helps you to feel like you have that little bit of control over that little bit of your life. Something else that can really help is to go and be outside, even for just a few minutes. Take a walk, just sit out there on your porch. The fresh air, the sunshine, the moonlight, whatever helps, whatever you feel like helps you best can really bring a sense of peace. And one thing especially that we find outside a lot is plants. For some reason, humans really like plants. Being around them can actually be very good for our mental health. Some people even keep plants inside. I am one of those people. This is Jerry, my little succulent. I keep him on my desk. It's nice to be able to have a little plant where I can see it whenever I want. And not only that, but I have control over it as well. It's that control thing again. Humans love control. To an extent, I have a say in what happens to that plant. I get to say whether it lives or dies. If I don't water it, or give it any light, it dies. On the other hand, if I do, it can flourish and thrive, and I can see that growth. When I got that plant, it wasn't doing so well. It was for like 75 cents at a Kroger, and its leaves were wilting and kind of rotting away. I have had this plant for months now, and you can see the growth. It didn't have a lot of those leaves when I first got it. That's amazing. It's the longest I've ever been able to keep a plant alive, and it's such a sense of accomplishment. It's really cool for me to see that I can actually accomplish something, that I am capable of keeping such a little thing thriving and living for a long time. Oh, at least it's long for me. Other people keep plants for years. So just to recap, go out in nature, be around whatever you can. It doesn't matter where you live, a big city, some rural area in the middle of nowhere, the suburbs. There are ways to have plants around you, whether you can just walk outside and see a forest, or whether you have to grow your own garden on your windowsill. Either way, you can find it incredibly rewarding and peaceful just to be able to see plants and nature like that. This, turn around so the camera can see you. This is my cat. Her name is Beanie. She's made a couple of cameos on some of my other videos. Beanie, get your butt out of my face. Having a pet can be incredibly helpful and reduce anxiety by a significant amount. Doesn't matter what kind of pet you have, classic cat or dog, you have a bird, a fish, a lizard, a tarantula, doesn't matter. Any one of those can bring some sort of peace of mind. Studies show that petting an animal can release dopamine and relieve stress. Even if you have an animal that you can't just sit there and stroke, like a fish, simply watching it swim around in its tank can be incredibly helpful as well. But pets, like the plants especially, rely on us to keep them happy and healthy and alive. And that again can give you a little bit of control, a sense of accomplishment, and a sense of guardianship as well. There are some people who even claim that a dog or a cat or another animal that they have will sense that they're having a bad day and do whatever they can to comfort their person. That's pretty amazing if you ask me. If you don't have your own pet or can't have one for whatever reason, maybe find a friend who does. Or go to a local animal shelter or pet shop and volunteer. That gets in that service too, which also releases those happy chemicals. Learn a new skill or pick up on a new hobby. Those can coincide pretty easily. Painting, knitting, building, songwriting, whatever you want. Having something that you can go to that you find relaxing after something that may be stressful, or even preceding something that may be stressful, can help you feel better. It can relieve that stress and anxiety. It can give you a period, like a comfort period, a little cushion, where you can have time to do something you want, something that you enjoy, to counteract something that you might not want to do, something that might cause you stress. Some people color. That actually has been proven to be a very big source of stress relief for a lot of people. I learned how to crochet. Not only does it give my hands something to do, but it's simple enough and it doesn't take so much brain work, so I can focus on other things as well if I need to. I know people who go out and play a sport. Some people enjoy playing solitary card games. A lot of people like to play video games. Others will talk to other people. Whatever you find helps you to have that cushion, to have that time for yourself. This can be something that you already know how to do, that you want to expound on or maybe invest a little more time in. Or it can be something that you want to learn how to do. Whatever helps you. You'll figure it out as you go along. Something that can kind of go hand in hand with a hobby or a skill, but I'm listing separately for a reason, is writing a story. And that can be a very powerful thing. You don't have to be good at it. You don't have to share it with anyone. It doesn't even have to be physically written down. You can think about it like a daydream, or you can speak it to a video or a voice recorder. But the reason writing a story or coming up with a story can be so powerful is that it's your own world. It goes back to that vital sense of control. There's something so special and so unique about having your own world to do whatever you want in. If you've got characters in there that aren't you, you can do whatever you want with them. Give them a better day or a worse day than you. Give them challenges and accomplishments. And if you are the character in the story, give yourself a better day. Live your own fantasy world. Manipulate your world as you choose in order to give yourself what you need to experience that sense of relief. It is important to note, however, that living in a fantasy world is not healthy. It is good to spend time in the real world. Take breaks in your fantasy world. Take breaks writing stories and doing whatever you want. But remember that the real world is where you need to be. And now, a word of caution. Something that can be very dangerous to people experiencing anxiety, especially those with anxiety disorders, is something that I call dead space. Essentially, dead space is a period of quiet or no stimulation, where you have time to sit and think. Now, at times, thinking can be very good, but in the case of anxiety, especially a panic attack or an anxiety attack, it can be incredibly dangerous. You can overthink or come to the wrong or negative conclusions about anything. So, the best way to counteract dead space is to fill it. Don't allow yourself that area, that space to think in. Something that I myself really like to do is listen to some silly nonsense songs. Perry Grip is my go-to artist. His songs are short, easy to memorize, silly, nonsensical, fun to sing along with. They fill that dead space excellently. Sometimes your brain needs a little more stimulation than just having a song to sing along to. In those cases, for me, I like to watch something. Usually, I'll go with a cartoon. Phineas and Ferb is something that I really like to watch, and it goes along with that theme that I mentioned earlier. Silly, nonsensical, fun to go along with. There's songs you can sing as well. There are times, of course, when simply doing one thing isn't enough, and I do what I like to call doubling up. Maybe listening to a song just isn't going to fill that dead space well enough, so I can do something with my hands as well. I can crochet, I can cook, I can do other things as well as listen to those songs, and it helps fill that space. There are times when I'll play a video game and listen to a podcast or a YouTube video at the same time. I'll just put the game on mute and turn on something with audio of a completely different thing. It gives my brain two different things to focus on and kills that dead space. Something else that's incredibly important is to know your limits. What causes you to feel that discomfort, to feel that anxiety? Make sure you don't overstep those bounds. However, you can push them. You can expand them, make them wider. If you're brand new to lifting weights or exercising in general even, you're not just going to go for the 100-pound dumbbells and lift them. That's not how it works. You need to start little. What can you lift easily? Maybe start with that, or something that you have a little bit of a harder time lifting. And then as you go and that gets easier, build on it. Give yourself just a little bit more weight, a little bit more of a challenge, and lift that until it becomes easier. You can build your way up until eventually you are lifting 100 pounds and even beyond. And last but certainly not least, don't be afraid to ask for help. There are points when anxiety can be detrimental and dangerous, and at those times you can't do it all by yourself. There is no shame in seeking help from other people. Sometimes it's professional help like therapy. Sometimes it's talking to a friend or a family member that you trust. There are times myself when I've had to contact Helplines. I'm going to leave a list of resources such as websites and helplines in the description below. Please use them to the fullest extent when you need to. There is absolutely no shame in recognizing when you need help and seeking it out. On that note, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you find some of the things that I've mentioned to be helpful to you. In the comments below, leave a technique that you have that's helped you throughout your life. Or let me know if there's something I mentioned that you might like to try. Or if there's something that I didn't mention that you have found incredibly helpful yourself. I'll see y'all later. Bye! There, that might help. Where was I going with this? Learning choir stuff here. Something that I really like to do kills that. Yes, this is good. Right. That's not good. Okay. What can we do about it? I had notes. It's nice to be able to have... Wait, actually, ooh. Research time. Dead space is essentially when there's a period of quiet or no stimulation that's going on, where you are gives you that sense of control. Gives you that sense of control. You're not just gonna go with the 100-pound weights and start deadlifting. Clearly, I don't lift weights. Hey, you're like a bird. I'm filming this in 8.5-minute increments approximately. I don't know why I'm telling myself that. It's not like it's gonna go in the